2.0. I'm just gonna give you the topics live when we're talking.
Okay, that works.
Right?
Yeah, that works.
Test your ability to think off the cuff.
I can think off the cuff pretty well, I think.
I'm pretty sure. I think we updated the notes. It doesn't say Hugh at 5:30 anymore.
Okay.
Hugh working out 5:30.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. And I love it, like, Dean sent me a message on Twitch and was like, guys, your thing's not right. And I was like, what? Duh. Oh, it's still there.
My team's gonna crush it. Nice.
What is it?
Line is two. Did you come?
I
Who's
don't know
the dude 1224? Is that who I think it is?
The dude 112.
That's not Dan the Man, right?
Yeah, that's Dan the Man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, did he jump on?
Yeah, he's on right now. I think he was on the old. No, he's on right now.
Or are you live now?
Yeah, I'm live right now.
Oh, hey, Dan.
Hey.
What's up, dude?
I just don't know why the stream, that's us. Oh, there's a lag. That's why. I got you.
Is the mic going through?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're
Cool.
good. It's
Nice.
super red too.
Yeah.
We're yelling, and I'm
I think I yelled into it.
Man, the aperture on my phone is amazing because it is dark in here.
Yeah.
But it looks great.
It's actually pretty good.
It's great.
Yeah.
So how you doing, Hugh?
Doing good. That workout today kicked my ass.
I was just gonna ask you how the workout in class was.
It was intense.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
I think the first round would have been enough, just the first couplet.
Once you get through that first 40 burpees,
Ooh.
you definitely feel it.
And the funny thing is, you guys are at home like, 40 burpees. That was the first
a lot.
round. No, that was you're doing at least 100 plus burpees in that if you get down the line.
Yeah.
Nothing like 17 minutes of staring at a bar once you get to a weight. Right? Yeah. It's more like 14 minutes of work and 5 minutes of staring at a bar.
Staring at a bar. Yeah, because 135, I did not even try. I went to 95.
How many people tried this morning at 135? Just you and Tim?
So Tim tried 135.
Mm-hmm.
Carl did 135. He's insane.
Yeah. Carl weighs 2 times 135.
Yeah. I think Mike did the rings instead.
Okay. Yeah, I know Mike's dealing with some shoulder stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about
which
that.
I understand.
Yeah.
And
which we all have been there before.
Otherwise, Jackie and Corey, I think they modified. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just like me. I'm modified. I went to 95 pounds.
Actually, that's going to be a topic today. And, well, do I want to segue? Actually, we can talk about that first.
Sure.
And if you guys were on our Twitch channel literally 5 minutes ago, it was solo, but I duplicated myself and Hugh. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be a regular thing. Not only that, Hugh, I'm actually going to go live based on what you've done.
Okay.
I'm actually going to try to push live every day.
Awesome.
Right? So
you should.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is just pick front of mind topics that have been going on at the gym or things that I know is coming down the line as far as fitness. Another thing that we've been really talking about is hey, the generation that's in our gym right now, what's the next 10, 20 years going to look like? What do they want as far as fitness and health? So I think that's an interesting topic. But yeah, I'm going to be doing it live every day with whoever's coming through, wants to talk. Definitely Hughes on Friday. And what else? It'll be Facebook Live as well. I think streaming on live on Facebook is a little bit easier than Instagram.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely get on the gram as well. So the segue. You did 95 versus 135. I'm not going to tell you the topic question.
Okay, that's perfect.
But it's going to segue into it. Why did you do 95 from 135?
Well, to be honest...
Lie to me, Hugh. Lie to me.
Yeah, I'll lie to you on this. When I came in and I saw that and I was like, 135 snatch. I don't even think I can do a 135 snatch.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried it before we did the workout, which was suggested by Dean, of course, as well. And I was thinking of trying it anyways to make sure I could do it.
Well, it's kind of like putting your toe in the water of the pool before getting in the pool. You want to kind of say it out. But it's different when you're breathing hard and then you approach a bar that's such a high skill movement. So kind of give you a broader picture. Let's go over what the workout was, right? Because we're talking about a workout. So the workout is a ladder from high volume to low. So think 40, 30, 20, 10-ish, right? And we've got burpees and snatches. The snatches is the Olympic lift when you take a barbell from the ground, through a deadlift movement all the way overhead in one fluid movement, right? So you're jumping and catching, basically, with the weight over. That's the easiest way I could put it. You can Google it like everybody else in the world. That's another way to think about it. But you're doing 40, 40, 30, 30, 20, 20, 10, and as the volume goes down, the weight goes up, right? So not only substantial, I know it's not like
a small amount.
No, and the funny thing about that is, like, when you're aerobically, it's a fancy term for like when you're breathing super hard, to be able to set up against a bar and do a snatch, which is a very high skill, in my opinion, probably the highest skill barbell movement you can do. Like you're spinning 4 plates hoping nothing drops.
Yeah,
right?
Essentially.
So by spinning 1 plate in the warm-ups, like, I can do 135. And then all of a sudden you get to it and you got 4 plates.
Yep.
There's no way, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, snatch for me is always one that I get a little concerned about. Because I'm
for
still
everyone, man.
So new to it.
Everyone.
Yeah, I'm sure it's for everybody, but I've only been doing it for like, what, a year and a half? Maybe?
18 years. Only 18 years,
yeah.
And you're still breaking the seal.
It's just... but the one thing that I did after the workout, so I didn't do it at all, and 95 pounds worked out, but I was dropping every single... Even with the 75, I was dropping every single time. So essentially you went from 75 pounds for the first grouping to 135 pounds if you're doing it.
So 40 reps at 75, right? That's already a workout. If you did 4 sets of 10, that would already be a workout.
Yeah.
And then you're going to jack the weight up to 135 and a 10 to 30 at that, right?
It was crazy.
So the reason why I wanted to kind of ask your opinion on the whys is one of the topics I wanted to go over today was scaling for your goals, right? Scaling for fitness. So even though the prescription and what was written down was 135, right? So what is the goal? The goal today is 17 minutes of a slightly challenged skill set, right? It shouldn't be impossible. And taxing your cardio with burpees, right? That's the stimulus. And should you be taking rests? Yeah, but they should be short. They really should be just kind of catching your breath. What it shouldn't be is you staring at a bar for 5 minutes, right? So when scaling for fitness, when scaling for your goals, I think a lot of people that join group fitness, or I can even say the same for when I did yoga for 2.5 years, was you look at someone doing kind of like an inverted pose and you're like, I need to do that.
Yeah.
But I am not even prepared anywhere to do that. But instead of working on like a frog position or a tripod and eventually getting inverted, I collapse 99.9% of the time trying to do it. So when it comes to the weight training and lifting and cardio and CrossFit and group training, whatever you want to put to it, if you're not scaling to get better, then what you're doing is you're suffering for 16 minutes. Like, that's basically it, right? So I wanted to talk about what scaling for fitness means, and I want you to kind of give your 2 cents about, like, on your end, right? So for me, when you scale for fitness, when you scale for your specific goals, it should be to match what the purpose of the workout is, right? So if the workout's supposed to be something heavy, and it should feel uncomfortable heavy, not impossible, when you go super light and you do like 5x the volume, you are missing the boat, right? You probably did something like that the day before. So doing more of that's not going to get us what we're looking for. And then vice versa, if we're doing like a 30-minute cardio session, which should be conversational, right? And you're taking off the gate sprinting and you get back and you're like keeled over, dying, and you're taking like 5 minutes. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, being smart, and I think the hardest part for me when I started was the ego, right? Like, I wanted to win. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to show everyone in my yoga class that I could do inversions as well, but then leaving with like bumps and bruises all over the place. And so it wasn't until I got a little bit older as far as experience with the coach, the community, the programming, that I'm like, I don't really need to do 135. I don't need to have my name at the top of the leaderboard. The reason being is my long-term goal is I want to see that I'm getting better. And if I'm not seeing that, I know I'm caught up on that competition scene, right?
Yeah.
So where have you seen yourself kind of caught up with the competition, and then versus where have you seen kind of sequential linear progression in your fitness, and then why did you see that? Was it because like, hey, I know where I'm at and I know how to push myself, or like, no, I went heavy all the time. That's why I got stronger.
Well, I would definitely say, since I'm pretty new to all this, initially when I started, competition wasn't the thing that I was thinking about at all. I was just focused on trying to get myself more fit and just happier with my abilities. And Actually, I feel like in certain ways that's helped me a lot, and I've kind of kept that mentality of just focusing on my abilities and making sure that I strive to what I think I should improve on.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's a singular
not necessarily,
journey.
yeah, I'd say my competition is actually more with myself than
Yes.
trying to look around me. It definitely changed a little bit with the Open. It's fun to have that competition.
We're going to talk, that's my last topic.
Other people,
yeah, it is.
But at the same time, I think one of the biggest things for me was just focusing on my personal competition.
And you know what? Like, I would say by nature I am competitive. That's my cut cloth. But if you can come into a program with that kind of like mantra or mindset, I've seen you progress so quickly, right? From where you were, like, what's that? That's a barbell. You know what I mean? Like, I've never done like the snatch or the clean and jerk to where you're at now. Whereas I've seen the opposite. I've seen like D1, D2 athletes come in here, but that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, I can still power clean. Like, ow.
Yeah.
Right? One of those things. Like, you know what? You have to really understand your why. I think that's what I'm hearing from you is like, you know, why are you training? Why are you eating better? Why are you sleeping better? What's your long-term goal, right? If the long-term goal is just general health, like I want to do what I want when I want and not worry about it, then you need to make sure that the time you spend at the gym is productive, as in progress, right? And then also you're not getting hurt.
Yeah.
Right? I think those are the two things.
Yeah.
Now, will bumps and bruises happen? Of course. When you push yourself, test yourself, that happens.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be testing yourself like every single day. And I think I told you back in the day when I used to teach the learning classes, is that like the LA Lakers, they don't play a game every single night of the week.
Right.
Everyone would be blown out. They practice, right? So making sure that you're scaling for the stimulus, that's how you practice and progress. I was going to say progress. Practice came out. But I think like scaling is such a term and a mindset that people think is a negative one, right? Like, oh, that means I'm not strong enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not quick enough. That's why I'm scaling, right?
Yeah.
And I think that definitely came out with CrossFit back in the day. Like, oh, scaling means you're not doing it prescribed, which means you're.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like for me, I was like, that means I'm lesser than. That means I'm not good enough, which. I could flip it on its head and be like, okay, well, if the prescribed is 135, why aren't you doing 185?
Yeah.
Same thing could be said, right? And for those who are really, really strong, that scaling should fit you too, right? If a weight on the bar seems too light for what the stimulus is, then you should be going up.
Yeah.
Right? Especially because of the exponential, like, limiting returns. There's a workout that I always use. Fran, I know you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Fran Koff.
Everybody knows it. It's 21-15-9, which breaks up into 3 rounds, right? 21-15-9 of thrusters, which is a front squat and a pressing movement overhead, or push pressing, depends who you ask, or how strong you are, and then pull-ups. But the problem with that is once you start getting to a certain time domain, all that effort to shave like 1 second off it, probably not worth it. And one of the reasons is because you're using the same weight. You have the exact same stimulus. So if you're looking to get faster, stronger, healthier, but PR at that specific test, then play around with the load, right? Play around with the volume or the order and see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's the talk for the scaling for fitness. Anything else you want to add to scaling? Like if someone, and this, like I said, can go through any form of fitness if you think about it. I mean, we could be playing basketball or hockey or group fitness or yoga, Pilates, like, What's scaling for you? And I know for you, you came in with the mindset of scaling, but any pointers for people who are looking to join a program, start Pilates, start yoga, start CrossFit, start with us, but they see what you guys are doing and they're like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Well, I think one of the bigger things was when we came in here, when what you had said to us is like, don't focus on the people around you, focus on yourself.
Yes.
And that I've always stuck with. And like, don't be afraid to scale, because scaling is just like it's making sure that you can keep up with the people that are around you, and that's important as well. I mean, obviously you don't want to scale to the point where you're barely doing anything.
You're like, that was a great warm up.
Next, right? But you don't want to be that one guy that tries so hard with everything that everybody's doing, but it takes you twice the amount of time, maybe.
Exactly.
Because it's not fun to finish like that.
Well, okay, so it's not necessarily fun to finish last, even though like one of the things is like if you are challenging yourself and it's within the same time domain, you're going to get like 8 other people cheering you on.
Right.
But there's a difference between that and finishing 20 minutes
20
past
minutes
everybody
past,
else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it's like,
Which would have
man, like what's going on? And we like, this is a little bit of tangent, but we had one open, because we're going to talk about the open in a second, where we actually had a guy take an hour 25 to finish a no cap workout.
Jeez.
And I take full responsibility. This was like many moons, probably about 8 years ago, where I should have been like, you know what, Hugh, you're good, man. We're done. Like, just like call it where it's at. There's no point working out for an hour 25. And it was a barbell movement. Right?
Yeah.
It got to a point where it was too heavy. So it was missing,
too much.
Missing. So.
Well, it was, I just drew one of the best that I remember was early on when I started, and I came in midday because I couldn't come in early, or I think Corey wasn't there or something, so I came later in the day, and we were doing the 7s.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, why don't you just do 5?
Nah, let's just do
5
each.
Just do 5 each. You're okay. And even that 5 took me forever.
Man, and it doesn't seem like a lot, right?
It's
Until you
a
get to
lot.
like 3 rounds of 7 rounds, and you're like, is it okay if I stop?
Yeah.
Like, that's when you look around and you look at everybody else and they look the same. Like, hey, is this good enough?
Yeah.
Right? And so that's also a signal where, like, if it's within the stimulus or within the time domain, it's just building that willpower. It's building that grit, right? It's building that no matter what, I'm going to finish. And I know for me personally, that correlates and it transfers a lot to the outside of the gym.
Yep.
If you've been through like a 40-minute grinder in here and you know, you're stuck in traffic or a meeting doesn't go well or sales doesn't go well, you're like, at least I didn't do burpees for an hour. Right?
Yeah.
You know, there's always that correlation. So I know my mental fortitude has definitely gotten better because of the training. Okay.
Absolutely.
So before we get to the open, the next thing, and actually I'm glad you're here because I think you'll actually have a really good insight of this, is the wants versus needs of a new athlete when it comes to achieving their goals, right? Mm-hmm. And let me put some like parameters to give you an example. Like we get a lot of athletes that are brand new to group training, to weightlifting, to gymnastics, that's new to this whole arena, right? And when we sit down, and I think you remember this, okay, so Hugh, like, what are your goals? What do you want, right? And a lot of people are like, I want to get fitter. Like, awesome. What's that look like to you, right? Well, I want 6-pack abs. I want to drive the Mercedes. I want, you know, to have the 1.5 kilo, like want. And then we sit down and we be like, okay, what's a week in the life? Well, I do this for a living, and this is where I've had back pain in the past, and I'm not really happy about going hiking because I get really sore the next day. So when we look at your life, right, then we figure out, okay, so you want that, but what you need is you need to get a little bit stronger, right? What you need is to stretch out more.
Yeah.
And so because that's your life bubble, and if we can create goals that makes that better, that's what we should be programming for versus all the wants, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people's wants are either way too low or way too high, and then when they achieve them, if it's not part of your why or your needs, then once you achieve them, you're like, eh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no big reward in it.
Yeah.
So for you as a new athlete, like a year and a half ago, what was your wants back then?
Yep.
And then after joining us and stuff like that, has that changed? Has the needs changed? And we talked about goals a couple of weeks ago, but let's just stick on wants and needs. So what were they when you first started?
So when I first started, I think I remember.
How did you guys find us, by the way? How did you did Corey
looked
Google
it up? Actually, the funniest story about.
Or did you hit a golf ball and we came back with it? Like, hey.
So. I mean, we looked around, we found you guys just online, and it had great reviews, so we were like, okay. And then she talked to you, and she was like, he sounds great, sounds like you're a great coach, very insightful. And I was like, cool, let's do it. But what really got us into this is we were kind of like haphazardly running and stuff like that during the weeks, maybe 2 to 3 times a week. But we liked it and we were okay with it, but it wasn't like
it didn't seem like there was a direction. You know what I mean? It's like, let's go run.
We're just running every day, and while we're both, you know, happy with running and stuff like that. What really brought us into this is family friends of mine came into town to go see I think it was the UCLA Texas A&M game, and they're from Houston.
Who won?
Texas A&M. UCLA won. and it was not a great game, so
Okay.
that went down bad. The day before that
That was great. Leading up to that was great.
and the game was fun, and then they lost
And
in a
then
very bad fashion. It was like
And
they were winning by like 35 points.
And if you're
35
flying
minutes.
out and you're a Texas fan,
Oh man, yeah, it was a big deal.
that was a quiet flight home. That was a quiet.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, luckily I didn't have to go on a flight, but man, they were not happy. But anyways, the day before they were like, hey, and they're huge CrossFitters,
Okay.
like intense CrossFitters.
Gotcha. So would you say they're
she does
like,
muscle ups
would you say
and-
they're competitive CrossFitters, or they just been
I'd
doing it long enough that that's they're part of their
She's
lifestyle?
a coach now.
Oh, okay.
So she's been doing it since college, and she like.
Did she
really,
play sports,
like,
college, the whole
intensely.
nine?
I think so. I think she
Okay.
played sports in college. She went to school for physical fitness
Okay.
and stuff like that, and then got into coaching. And now she does like private coaching and stuff like that, and does nutritional coaching.
Gotcha.
But I mean, they were like intense, and so we went to this CrossFit in Pasadena, and they kind of looked at us. Because we went with them, and they were like, how much experience do you guys have? And we were like, we have none whatsoever.
I thought this was a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
Like what?
the guy looks at us and was like, yeah, our CrossFit isn't for new people. And my family friend she was like, no, I'm a coach.
I'll handle this.
I'll handle this. And he was like, oh, okay. And so they told us the workout, and she modified a lot of stuff to make it easier for us, and I really enjoyed it. We were doing wall balls, we were doing squats, we were doing, and one of the things that day was doing the what do you call it? What we just did.
The
today.
snatches?
The
Yeah.
snatches. And I was like, yeah, I've never used weights like that ever before.
There's
She was
not.
like, okay, use this dumbbell.
Do you have a
and just put it
broomstick?
over your
I know.
head.
Do you have a broomstick?
I was like, okay, I can do that.
That's so cool.
So we ended up doing that, and I really enjoyed it. And both of us were like massively sore the next day. So we knew that it like got us going, and we were like, all right, let's get it.
It gets us sore in a different way.
It does.
I think we all remember like our first like group fit or CrossFit class, and like the next day or during it, like, oh, it's not too bad, especially if it was scaled. You know what I mean? Like, I could do this, and like the next like 72 hours, you're like,
oh, I was destroyed. I was.
Is there enough
destroyed.
Bengay to bathe in? Right?
Yeah.
I still remember that. for sure.
But it was good though. I was
Good.
happy with it, and we
you know-
took a little time, and then we found you guys.
Awesome.
We
So
came in.
You had a little bit of sampling. I'm really happy that you guys actually had a guide.
Yeah.
Right? Your first experience.
Yeah.
Because could you imagine if you and Corey
Just walked
went
in.
there, and not only that, like I just did a video testimonial with Mike, and he's like, the first gym he went to, like literally after the first class, they're like, well, you don't belong here.
Yeah.
And it actually it makes me
awful.
frustrated. It actually pisses
Yeah.
me off because the whole reason I got into this was to help people.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're gonna say like, you know what? I don't want to help you.
Yeah.
Like, that
That's
totally doesn't make
crazy.
sense. Especially when the roots of the methodology
Yeah.
is scaling.
Yeah.
Like that's the roots of the methodology. So after being broken for a week, after your first one, you guys looked around. I met with Corey.
Yep.
So did you have any wants or desires coming in to training? Like, did you have any goals, or was it just like, hey, I had a really good time. I like the variety of not running.
Yep.
Only, right? And
Yep.
that's I kind of want to just ride that horse.
I think that was part of it.
Okay.
And we both wanted something that we would consistently do, and we liked the idea that somebody would tell us what to do. We
Yes.
really enjoyed that.
and that's I'm gonna talk
That
about
was
that's
that was
key.
definitely a big key part of it. But I'd say like goal wise, really in my mindset at that time, I was like, I just want to be able to keep eating what I want. Like I don't like the fitness part was
Oh my goodness.
yes, I want that so that I'm fit-ish,
Yeah.
but I want to be able to enjoy food and not worry about it as much.
I'm gonna push pause right there for all you guys watching. I'm gonna repost this literally on all of our social media streams. But the reason why I'm gonna pause that is there's two stories that are all within the same hemisphere. So yesterday I met with Lee and Eric here, who just came back from vacation, like literally like a 2-month vacation, and. You know, I can tell when people need a vacation because they come back super energized. I'm like, wow, that's not the... You needed a
Usual.
vacation. You needed a vacation. But secondly, everyone falls off the horse as far as nutrition. You're supposed to. It's called vacation. right?
Yep.
And then we start getting into that self-talk, self-doubt, and we start beating ourselves up because we knew where we were at prior. But the thing is, just like your heartbeat, your nutrition and life is going to go like that. So you can't be like so focused on that. But the reason why I say that is I started for the same reason. My very first client back in my garage, like 2008, when I asked her, like, what are your goals? She's like, I want to eat dessert and not feel bad about it. Right? So for all you guys at home that are looking to get in, to any type of program, it doesn't matter what it has to be. Your goals are special for you. They don't need to be fitness goals. You know what I mean? They don't need to be like, I want to get stronger and healthier and happier. Like, that's our goals for you. And actually, funny enough, they all kind of correlate to that in the long term. But, hey, man, if you need to exercise 3 days a week, if you need to go out and jog to clear your mind, that's a goal. Yeah. If you want to do that because we go to Wingstop every Friday, then that's your goal.
Yeah,
you know what
definitely.
I mean? And that's totally fine. So I don't want you guys to feel like going in, it has to be a fitness-oriented goal. And if anyone ever pressures you about that, that's a red flag. You know what? If I'm not comfortable talking about my goals with this individual, probably not going to like the classes or anything else, right? So wants and needs. Now, as far as needs with your lifestyle, right? You've been training for a year and a half. Yeah. What do you see your needs as far as an entrepreneur, right? As far as a partner in life, right? With Corey, like, what are your needs that you see the training here helps out with? And I'll give you some kind of examples. Like, besides just training, like, for me, it's, if when I work out, like, I always have this Energizer Bunny battery the first part of the day because I'm super jazzed about coming in and working and helping people. Yeah. But I can't have that same energy going home. Like, I need to be present. Yeah. And so that's what working out gives me. It allows me to use the extra energy so I can be present with others. Yep. So what are the needs of a very famous Twitch person, by the way?
Famous. I get an average of 6 people on my Twitch.
Hey, that's about.
It's not bad.
That's 800% more than what we get.
So I guess the needs that are fulfilled, or just like needs overall.
Casey's asking what are snatches.
Oh, snatches are when you go into the cabinet and you pull out a bag of chips. Oh, you mean snatches, not snacks.
I thought it was snacks.
Snacks.
I told her to Google it.
Google it. That's the best way to answer it.
I think that's the default. The fact that it's in the Webster Dictionary, too.
But, actually, one of the biggest things that was fulfilled that I didn't even know I needed was I don't get sick nearly as much. Which is awesome. And I don't remember the last time that I've been, like, hardcore sick.
Like knocked out, right?
Like, on the couch, done. And I think... And I noticed this even... before when I started running again. Mm-hmm. I stopped getting sick as easy, and now I just don't get sick nearly as much. Just getting the blood moving through the body has been really big for me.
And you're buffering your immune system, right? Yeah. Anytime that you can stress your immune system, you're actually making it stronger. Yeah. So if you're running outside and it's cold or hot, you're buffering your immune system. If you're coming in here and you're out of breath and you're uncomfortable, you're buffering your immune system. So
I mean, that's been a huge plus. I think energy-wise, I've been way better. Mm-hmm.
Way more followers on Twitch.
Well, they're just hopping in left and right.
Thanks, Casey.
What else?
Oh my gosh. You spelled porks wrong. It's with a P. One of our coaches are on our stream, so. But
she's on the
making
funnies in the chat.
Exactly. I'll put some of my.
You gotta put the Bob Ross.
I know, exactly. There it is. Boom, boom, boom.
They're the best.
It is. But
trying to think of other needs that I could still eat basically what I want. I'm trying to just be a little bit better.
But the one of the great things is,
but it's good.
Like in health, your activity is buffering any sickness or any slips. I don't want to say bad decisions, but like, hey, you know what? I want to have a Coca-Cola, or you know what? I want to have this dessert. If you're putting in the time, day to day, week to week, then it's okay to have those things, right? The problem is when you're not. Yeah. And then you overconsume those things, that's when it becomes
an issue. It doesn't go anywhere.
It does not go anywhere. Unfortunately, that is why we have fat. But yeah, like for me, the needs that I didn't know of, and this has been a big difference. So when I first started, no kids, right? Just a partner in crime. Yep. And so being present was awesome. Doing something together was also another cool byproduct of it that I never thought. Being healthy together meant we could do more things outside, as far as like trips, traveling, stuff like that. But now that I have kids, like my fitness is so important because they're not light and they pass out on the couch, and I need to walk upstairs with like 2 kids in hand. They get tired at Disneyland, and we don't have a stroller, which means one's on my shoulder and I'm carrying the other one. So that kind of functional fitness, as funny as it may sound, is really important to me. But sickness is the same way. Over the last 3 years, adding kind of the mindset and breathing and my own cold exposure practice too has definitely buffered that. But I also know that when I'm not doing it, like when I have a season of rest, I get hit, right? And everyone always asks me every year, because they know I don't get sick, like, hey, did you get the flu shot? Like, I haven't had the flu shot for probably 2 decades, right? So what are you doing? I take care of my health. I exercise. I eat well, right? But they're like, but you don't have like 12-pack abs and you don't look huge. That's not my why. That's not my goal. It's not the need that I need, right?
Yeah, because that requires more focus on
not only that,
fat reduction. And
it's short-lived. And we want all aesthetics, but that's not my goal. Just like how my first client, shout out to Kimmy, her goal was to have dessert and not feel bad about it. My goal for training, actually, full disclosure, besides my family, my health, is to socialize. Because I'm literally working all day on a computer, right? And do I have an inner circle of friends? Yeah, but realistically, we get together once a month, maybe, like twice a month. So by actually showing up here and working out with people, I fulfill that need for high-touch interactions, for eye contact, to feel like I'm not alone in the world, right? So that's also a nice thing.
Exactly. That is definitely, the social aspect has been really good for me. Because, I work from home, so I don't really get to see many people other than now on the computer through a chat.
8 followers.
So my 8 followers that are like watching me do my work.
And actually, that's one of like my core values or pillars for what we do, is I really think, and we kind of teed about it a little bit, it's like, hey, what's the next generation? What's the next 20 years look like? I think it's actually more
digital side,
right?
It's 100%.
And so, but the double-edged story with that is there's less this, right? And I think, and I don't know if your inner circle or the people you come up with, we have a lot of like college students in this area, UCI, IVC. And the one thing I notice is it's no longer introvert, extrovert. It's we just don't have social skills that we're teaching because there's not enough exposure to opportunity to practice social skills, right? So for me, a big thing is building that tribe, that community, that ohana, where you feel safe, that you can practice. Like, for instance, we also, Orange County is a transplant city, right? So we have a lot of people like, hey, I'm not comfortable with my English. Well, come in and practice. Like, this is a great place to practice.
It's a great place.
Especially if you spell pork wrong or snacks, right? Stuff like that. But yeah, that is such a big important part, is that social aspect. And I really think that's what's going to carry us on and on and on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, last topic before the lunch class. What are you doing for lunch?
I have no plans.
Okay, I think we might get lunch.
All right, sweet.
I know we've been putting it off for like
4
weeks, so we'll get lunch. But that being said, the open, right?
Yep.
Like you said, I wasn't competitive coming in.
I know.
But I got a little whiff of this thing called the open.
Yeah.
So for you guys following, if you're not familiar with CrossFit, or by now, you have a neighbor, LinkedIn friend, or YouTube follower that does CrossFit. But there's the open, and what I want to be specific about is there is the sport of fitness, and then there's the training methodology that we do. Right. So just like anything, the sport of fitness is for professionals. Right, and the methodology is for us. The LA Lakers pick up basketball. We can all play pick up basketball. I'm not very good at it, by the way. I'll just stay underneath the hoop. But we can do it. That being said, there's an opportunity every year to feel like you're doing the sport of fitness, to feel like you were a Laker, right? To feel like I'm the sixth man. Put me in, right? And so the Open, I think last year there was like, and you guys can Google it, I'm probably getting it wrong. I know it was over 200,000 people worldwide who were participating. It's 5 weeks of competition.
It was a lot.
They create workouts every week that everyone participates in, and you get ranked based on speed, time, volume, all that kind of stuff, right? We use it as an excuse to create more social interaction, to get everyone together Friday nights, to break bread, have a couple beers afterwards, hopefully hit a PR, right? But for me, as an OG in the world, it really does rekindle why I want to train, why I need to be consistent.
Yeah.
But for you, what's the open for you this year? I know last year was your first year.
Yeah, last year was the first year. Didn't even know what I was getting into.
So what's competitive you want this year?
Like to be competitive.
There you go. Okay.
Last year I felt like I was trying to be competitive, but I wasn't as fit as I am this year, so this year I hope to be more competitive as a team member.
I like it. And that's what we do here. It's actually like, think of it like college intramurals. Like we create teams so that you never feel singular, but you play a part towards the whole, right?
Yeah.
And I think your first year doing it was just like, oh, what's this?
And then I did it.
Right? And
yeah,
you did
I
it,
signed up.
Right? Whereas now,
no
with a year and a half under your belt, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you know how to kind of game plan certain workouts, having a strategy. I think you're going to be hungrier than ever to kind of...
I hope so. I think I will.
Work in.
I think I'm going to see it. I know I'm going to freak out when I see the workouts.
I know.
Be like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I know the dude 1224. I know Dan's looking for it. I mean, he's calling his shot already. My team's going to crush it, which is nice. But it gives us a chance to be competitive in a fun and safe environment. I think that's also really important because you should always weigh the risk to reward, and the risk is never worth it if we're not professional athletes, right?
Yeah.
If you're professional athletes and that's what you get paid for, you got to try to that extra 5%, right? Whereas in our community, as a coach, if I see you struggling, I'm pulling the plug, man. We still have 4 weeks of working out. Like, what's the point of blowing a gasket?
Yeah, don't destroy yourself.
No.
Definitely. That'll be my focus, too, is not destroying myself.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk one thing you're looking forward to, one thing you're not looking forward to in the open.
One thing I'm looking forward to, I'm always at every workout looking forward to being done the workout.
That's awesome.
That is like my absolute favorite part. It's like my goal that I look at. I'm like, okay, I'm almost there.
When will I
feel
finish?
great.
When will I finish?
I look forward to lying on the ground on my back, breathing heavily.
That is so funny.
The one thing that I'm not looking forward to is probably...
Or maybe not looking forward to of like one thing that you're excited about, right?
Yep.
And the other thing that you're like, man, I'm just gonna have to grit through this or grind through this. Or is there any surprises or any questions like, will they do this? Now, with you being a year and a half,
I feel like I'm still too new.
There's perspective. So let me give you some kind of parameters to this. So things that people always look forward to, like 10 years ago with the Open, they were just benchmarks, right?
Yeah.
You did frame, you did like Helen and stuff like that. You might have done a hero watch here or there, but it's definitely grown. So the funnel is pretty open in the beginning, first couple weeks, and then it definitely does taper down as far as difficulty of movements, load, speed. So the questions every year is like, when will they put like muscle ups in? Is it going to be like week 5 or week 1?
Which I can't even do.
Right? Other things are like, I think this started maybe 2 years ago, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 3 years ago, where it was the first time they ever did a no-cap workout.
Right.
Before it was always like 10 minutes, 12 minutes, so you knew what to train for. Like, I just got to bust my butt for 10 minutes. Got it.
Yeah.
But remember that guy that took an hour and 25 minutes? I was like, oh my goodness. So will they do that? The thing I'm not looking forward to, and there's always a version of this, is a thruster and a pull-up or some version of that, but like volume.
Yeah.
I mean like 21, 18, 16, 14, 12, 9, 6, 3, where you're just like...
Well, the other one that I think I remember from last year was the one where it was like 7 minutes.
Yes.
And you just like busted through it as fast as you could.
Oh my goodness.
That one was pretty brutal actually. Because you're almost sprinting for that 7 minutes.
In your subconscious, you should be able to sprint for 7 minutes, even though in truth we probably can't. But you're like, oh, that's easy enough. And then you hit the wall and you look up and there's still like 6.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my goodness.
I just got through.
I literally just shot myself.
Yeah.
Victory again, 2 years in a row. We'll see. Color me, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little side bet, Korean barbecue for the winners too. So. Team. So we'll see. But so one of the things they did probably like 4 years ago, which I hope they never bring back, was 7 minutes of burpees.
Oh god.
That's it.
No.
Right? I think
I did enough burpees today.
Oh my goodness. But I think one of the nice thing about having like stations or different movements in the workout is like for your head, it's nice to know that you get to move on to something else. But being monostructural or like single movement, like even when like just going to run, after a while it's like bleh.
Yeah.
But just doing burpees, man, for 7 minutes.
That's definitely a mind trip right there.
It was.
You have to mentally prepare
there was
yourself
so much backlash when that was announced as a workout in the open. Like literally, like it's this big stage, and we're just gonna do
burpees. I mean, that's kind of funny at the same time because it definitely is a mental game.
It is. It's way more mentally weighed than physically because you can walk through burpees.
Yeah.
But you want to quit every single rep.
Yeah.
You want to stop every single rep.
I definitely am not a burpee fan, but
I don't think
you know what makes it. What's even worse than burpees though is man makers. I hate man makers.
I think because it's a weighted burpee.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what? Like when you're doing the barbell on the ground, it always sticks to the middle of here and it hurts.
Well, it's all that pressure on your palms and there's the repetitions. I think we all have a non-favorite movement.
Definitely not my favorite.
Yeah, man makers, burpees, any combination of that, not that good.
No.
But so that's the open. I mean, there's things that we look forward to, things that we don't. Another thing is steam. So let me give you guys a warning. If you guys are going to watch this on Instagram, IGTV, or wherever you see this in the future, it's 5 weeks. Pace yourself.
Yeah.
And what I mean by pace is this. Another thing about the open is because it's score-based, you have a week to retry or re-enter a score. Now, if we use the exercise or the workout of 7 minutes of burpees, how many times do you really want to do that, right? And I can tell you from our experience, we had a couple individuals give it a try 3 times, and they were always worse scores. So it's like... Right, risk reward, effort versus return.
Yeah.
Like, what's the ROI on that?
Is it worth it to go back?
Is it going to bump your team a place?
Yeah.
And unfortunately for these guys, it didn't. But they put in 2 more efforts, man. So with that being said, like as I get a little bit more older and experienced, I still enjoy the open. But for me, it's one and done. Like I'm just going to do it once, wherever the chips lay.
One and done.
Yeah. The reason being is I still need to exercise the rest of the week, and I don't want to be caught up with only doing this workout, and then frustrated with why I didn't get better, right?
Yeah.
Plus, you get into a volume issue too. So a lot of the CrossFit Opens are going to ask for a lot of volume, right?
Yeah.
It's not so much how fast you finish, but there's a lot of volume. So we see from different type of programming out there, if you stim or if you're on this high volume all the time, you can get high volume injuries.
Yep.
Right? So that's another reason why I personally don't do it more than once and why I say most people shouldn't. Now, if you're a beginner and it's not a volume issue, like literally you got 12 reps, high five, then I will allow you to retake it, right? I'll let you redo it again.
Yeah.
But if you start playing around with anywhere from 200 to 300 repetitions, right? And you start doing that more than 2 times, maybe 3 times a week, and you're not under the age of 20, that's a lot on the shoulder, a lot on the hips, ankles, knees. So we need to kind of be wary of that. But that's where like having a coach is important, right? Having someone guide you is important.
Makes it easier for you too. They
It
can
does.
tell you what to do.
It does.
That's what I like.
So I'm gonna close up this episode 14 and a half. Right, because 14 was 30 minutes ago.
Yep.
My
bad.
Any parting words? No, the funny thing was like Hugh was actually on. I think you guys heard it because you guys were watching. Hugh was actually on his stream, right? And then Corey was like, "Aren't you supposed to be on all the fitness right now?"
God, I'm so sorry.
That's why we gotta do.
Sorry, guys. I gotta
do
go.
like co-stream on your camera so that you can
I
stream
know.
from home. But then we wouldn't get lunch. So it's kind of cool to get lunch.
Exactly.
But thank you guys for tuning in. If this brought you guys any type of value, please share it, subscribe, watch it. Like I said, we're going to be on Facebook Live pretty much all the time now. And my goal, and I'm putting out that in the world, is to help. I really want to help. How many people I want to help this year? I want to help 1,000 people get educated on fitness and nutrition and better their lives. Because I know if I can make 1,000 people healthier, they can make the people that are in their circle healthier as well, right?
Yeah.
Because they're happier. So that's my goal. So share the wealth. If there's anything that we can do for you, programming or health, fitness, and everything else, let me know. I'm an open book. Because like I mentioned on episode 14, now it's not a lack of information. That is not the issue we have. It's a lack of application.
Yep.
Right? And so that's where I come in. Okay, guys. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
See y'all later.
I hope that's not trademarked or anything. That would be.
I don't think so. I don't think